Right. Feel free to find your comfortable seated position. Let's turn the light on so we got better lighting. Just take this time to relax your mind. Any stressors, release them with each exhale. Big breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Big breath in. And exhale through your mouth. Go ahead and repeat that pattern. I want you to keep those exaggerated breaths. I want you to keep your eyes relaxed as you start to add movement through your neck, starting with a head roll, maybe keeping it in the front, maybe in a full rotation, making sure you go in both directions. Take your time here. Bringing your chin back to center. And I want you to just shake your head no. Really slowly bring that chin over to your shoulder, add some rotation. Bringing that head back to center. Let's go ahead and bring that rotation in through our mid back. You're welcome to open your eyes at this point, or you can keep them relaxed. Slowly bringing it through the center over to the other side. And gently relax. Let's go ahead and swing those feet behind us, shifting into our tabletops position. Wrists are below our shoulders, knees are in line with our hips. Make sure we're not letting that lower back sag, but we're keeping it nice and tight. I want you to pull those shoulders down and away from your ears. You can kind of play with that a little bit. Relax, pack the shoulders, relax, pack. With this nice packed position, so your shoulders are away from your ears, I want you to hold that as you tuck your toes under. We're just going to hover our knees directly over the floor. Let's get that core, our wrists, shoulders, everything is nice and warm. Gently release those knees as you sit back into child's pose, keeping your wrists or your hands forward. Shifting our weight back into that tabletops, this time taking that left hand, palm facing up, threading it through behind that right arm or right hand. Option to raise your right arm off the floor. Your forehead is gently placed on the side on the mat. Let's place that right hand down. Use it to press ourselves back up. Left hand is on the mat this time as our right hand threads through. Again, you have the option to raise that left arm off the floor. Placing that left hand down, use it to press yourself up. We're going to walk those hands towards our body. I'm going to turn towards you. You can stay where you're at if you want to. Your knees should be in line with your hips. If you have a blanket or a pillow, you can place your knees down for a little support. We're going to keep with that spine movement through the spine as we extend one leg. Arms are going to come up to our ears. As you exhale, you're going to place your, if you're mirroring me, your left hand down to the floor. Lengthen through the body. Notice how I'm not resting my head on my shoulder. I'm keeping that nice and open, really trying to pull my fingertips and toes to opposite sides of the room. As we lift, we're going to start with our arm. We're going to raise that chest. This is my favorite of our warm-ups. We're going to sit back on our heel with this leg extended into a single leg child's pose. Inhale, shift forward. Remember that packed shoulder position. We're going to raise that extended leg up. Use your glutes to swing behind you. Gently release that toe. And then your knee, you should be back in your tabletops position. Let's go ahead and walk those hands back towards our knees, lifting ourselves back up. This time, if you're mirroring me, you're extending that left leg. Arms lift up to your ears. Exhale as you release that right arm down to the floor, lengthening through the spine. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and raise our arm. Lift with the chest. And let's sit back into that single leg child's pose. Let's go ahead and shift our weight forward. Pack those shoulders. Raising our foot off the floor, squeezing as we kick behind us. Gently releasing our toe and then our knee. I'm going to turn back to the side. You should be in just your regular tabletops position. And let's get ready to add movement through the spine for our cat-cow. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you round through the spine. If you have not noticed, our focus is our spine today, our trunk. Inhale as you lift and open. Exhale as you tuck and round. I'm going to get this hair out of my face. As you complete your last exhale, I want you to tuck your toes under, bring your knees to the outside of your mat. Keep your feet together and let's sit back into our frog. Feel free to rock those hips side to side if you'd like. Let's go ahead and take that weight forward into our tabletops. Tuck those toes under. Let's go ahead and adjust those knees so that they're in line with our hips. We're going to bring those toes under. We're going to hover here, so make sure your shoulders are packed. Hover over the floor. Back stays in one straight line. Hold here. And let's push those hips back for our downward dog. Can you get those shoulders to stay packed? Try not to shrug into your shoulders. A little bit more difficult to get deeper into that stretch. Something to work towards. Remember, our eyes want to avoid looking down at the floor. Rather, we want to look behind through our legs. Let's take those feet towards our hands. Inhale, bring your gaze forward. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, release back into that forward fold. With your hands on the floor, bending your knees if you need to, we're going to keep our right foot forward. Left foot will step back into our high lunge. Starting with our runner's lunge. Lifting into that high lunge. Remember, we want to keep those hips rolled under to protect that lower back. In your high lunge, you can choose to stay here. Maybe you want to bring that gaze up, maybe even slightly behind you. Breathe into the stretch. Inhale, lift back into that high lunge if you are not already. Let's go ahead and take our hands to prayer. I want you to cross that left elbow over your right knee. Hold here for a few breaths. Shifting your weight onto that right leg or your front standing leg. We're going to step forward into our twisted chair. Keep those hips down, hold it here. Rotate back to center and lift into standing. Amazing job, everyone. Let's lower our hands to our sides. Inhale, bring those arms up. Exhale to your side. Let's do one more. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, let's open up into our wide stance. Swan dive into that wide stance, forward fold. Hands are placed either on the floor or maybe on your yoga block or something in place of a yoga block. With your eyes looking through your legs, that right hand is going to stay on the floor as you raise that left arm. Just like earlier, I want you to try to avoid sinking into that shoulder on that right arm. Try to lift everything up to the ceiling. Left hand places on the floor as we raise that right arm. Eyes follow in that direction. Again, everything stays nice and light here. Let's go ahead and place that hand down to the floor. This time, if you want to get a little bit deeper into that stretch, maybe releasing to your forearms, feel free to do so. Pressing yourself back onto your hands. Let's go ahead and scoot those feet together. Slight bend through the knees. Let's roll into standing. Heads always last to come up. I'm going to turn to the side so that I'm back long ways on my mat. Deep breath in. As you exhale, let's swan dive into that forward fold. Hips press behind us. Lengthen through the spine, forward fold. This time, left foot stays forward, right foot will step back, starting in our runner's lunge. When you're ready, taking those hands away, lifting into that high lunge. Remember, hips roll under. Option to bring your gaze to follow your fingertips, maybe even bringing that gaze behind you. Slowly lifting back into high lunge if you are not already. Lowering your hands to prayer. Let's go ahead and cross that right elbow over our left knee. Hold here for a few breaths. Shifting your weight onto that left leg. Stepping forward for that twisted chair. Let's rotate back to center. Lifting it up nice and tall. Very good. Exhale your arms to your sides. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, release to your sides. Let's do one more deep breath. Swan dive into that forward fold on this last breath. Inhale, bring your gaze forward, lengthen the spine, reaching out in front of you. Exhale, release back into that forward fold. We're gonna go back into that right side. So left foot steps back. Taking your hands away, lifting into that high lunge, arms reach overhead, maybe reaching slightly behind you. Yes, we're moving a little bit faster this time. Inhale, lifting back up. This time as you exhale, we're doing a full twist. So your chest is rotating towards that right leg. Arms are lengthening to either side of the room. Inhale back to center. Release your hands to prayer. Crossing that left elbow over towards your right knee. Hold here for a breath. As you exhale, step together, twisted chair. Rotate back to center. Inhale, lift it up. Very good, everyone. Exhale, arms to your sides. Yes, we are moving a little bit faster. Inhale, arms overhead. Sets of 3 for our breaths. On your last exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Lengthen to the spine and release. Inhale, bringing that gaze forward. Exhale, release back into that forward fold. Hands are placed on the floor, bending your knees as needed. Left foot stays forward, right foot steps back into that runner's lunge so that we can lift into our high lunge. Maybe bringing that gaze slightly behind you. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, big twist over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands come to prayer. Crossing that right elbow over that left knee. Stepping forward. Twisting back to center and lifting into standing. Very good. Remember those sets of 3 for your breaths. Following your own breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to your side. On your third exhale, swan diving into that forward fold. Remember those deep breaths we did in the beginning of class. Inhale, bring your gaze forward, lengthen to the spine. Exhale, release, forward fold. Very good, everyone. Let's go ahead and hop or step back into that plank position. I'm going to have you hold here for a few breaths. So you have the option to drop your hips and raise into that cobra, or if you want to release to those knees and press up into your modified cobra, you have the option to do either. Waving those hips up and back into child's pose. Let's bring those hands below your shoulders. Use them to press yourself up. I have one more challenge for you. We're not quite done yet. We are going to release to the floor for this last challenge. Nice and slow and controlled. All right, so we're going to start. Option 1, hands placed to the side. Option 1, we're going to start with just a regular bridge, 2 feet on the floor. As we increase the intensity, or the challenge. You can choose to stop at any point. So you can choose to stay here, or if you want to take it to the next step, we're going to raise one foot off the floor into a single leg bridge. Let's go ahead and do about 3 or 4 on each side. Once you've done 3 or 4 on each side, let's go ahead and tuck into our tight ball, roll it out before I give you your challenge. Yeah, that wasn't it. Not quite. I think there might be one person here who was with me for boot camp who knows what's coming. All right, for your last challenge, you're going to keep that single leg bridge, except for this time you're going to tuck that knee or that foot through your leg, which means you need to open your hips and then rotate it back up. Tuck that leg through, open your hips and open. Let's go ahead and do 3 or 4 on each side again. You're welcome to stay with those one-legged single leg bridge. I'm thinking 3 legs because it feels like it, like a tripod position-ish. You do have to use those hamstrings to hold your hips up. Once you've done 3 or 4 on each side, tucking into that tight ball. Rolling out that lower back, you deserve it. Keeping one knee tucked in as you extend that other leg. Reaching for the outside of that knee with your opposite arm as you bring that knee across your chest. And open your arm out to the side. For this one, your hips are allowed to release from the mat. Taking your time to roll onto both hips. And extending that front leg. This time we're all going to hold under our thigh, even if that means you have to kind of adjust if you're usually here. Holding behind your thigh. And we're just going to flex and point our toe here. So for those of you who may have sciatica or piriformis complications, this is a good exercise for you to do. Go ahead and relax that ankle. Bring that knee back into your chest. Slide your opposite foot so that both knees are in that tight ball. Go ahead and roll your lower back out one more time before we do the other side. Hugging that knee into your chest as you extend your leg out in front of you. Reaching for the outside of that leg, bringing that knee across your body. And opening your arm out to the side. Rolling onto both hips, bringing that knee back to center, extending your leg, placing your hands behind your thigh as you flex and point your toe. If you're like me, you might have one ankle that's a little bit stronger than the other. Use these exercises to balance those right and left sides. Relaxing that foot, bringing that knee back into chest before placing your foot on the floor. You have the option to bring both feet flat to the floor, allowing those knees to cave together for daydreamers, or you can reach those feet out in front of you for corpse. Bringing those eyes to a close if they are not already. I want us all to start with those breaths, just like in the beginning. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. If it feels dramatic, it should be. Let's do a few more together. One more. Go ahead and continue your breaths on your own. And bringing your mind and your focus strictly to your body. I want you to keep your breath relaxed as you start to add small movements into that body. Maybe wiggling your shoulders and your hips. Maybe rocking your head side to side. Make a big snow angel, bringing those arms overhead. And roll over to one side. Opening your eyes. And slowly sliding yourself back into that comfortable seated position we started with. Finishing with our deep breaths all together. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, arms to side. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale one more time, sets of 3 for our breaths. One more time, inhale, hands come to prayer. Exhale, hands to heart. Namaste. Have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday, everyone, and I will see you all next week. Thank you all so much.